is obvious to the most simple-minded that Loci is of an inferior breed.
The obvious visual evidence, Commissioner, is that he is of the same breed as yourself.
Are you blind, Commander Spock? Oh, look at me.
I thought you scientists were supposed to keep an open mind.
There's a difference between keeping an open mind and believing something because you want it to be true.
Your friend Spock is a logical man.
I find your arguments strewn with gaping defects in logic.
Most illogical reaction. We demonstrated our superior weapons. They should have fled.
You mean they should have respected us?
Of course.
Mr. Spock, respect is a rational process. Did it ever occur to you they might react emotionally? With anger?
Doctor, I'm not responsible for their unpredictability.
You do not think like the others. There are no colors to your patterns of logic. There's only black and white.
Logical, unemotional, completely pragmatic. And we poor, irrational humans whip them in a fair fight. Now you'll find yourself back among us illogical humans again.
Which I find eminently satisfactory, Doctor. For nowhere am I so desperately needed.
Because she feels. I don't. All I know is logic.
Will you try to understand how we feel about our life here? About each other?
Emotions are alien to me. I'm a scientist.
You're gonna leave here without them? Run off on some wild goose chase halfway across the galaxy just because you found a discrepancy in a hydrogen cloud?
Doctor, I'm chasing the captain, Lieutenant Uhura, and Ensign Chekhov, not some wild aquatic fowl.
Mr. Spock, you have a remarkably logical and analytical mind.
Thank you. I prefer the concrete, the graspable, the provable.
You'd make a splendid computer, Mr. Spock.
Here is Hezbollah leader Nasrallah on Lebanon foreign affairs.
الأمريكي السابق باراك أوباما قبل أشهر، هذا موجود على الإنترنت، ألقى محاضرة في إحدى الجامعات الأمريكية عم يحكي كيف بيسقطوا دول، كيف بيسيطروا على دول. هذا كل شعوب العالم لازم يقروه هذا ولازم يسمعوه لحتى يحتاطوا، لحتى يحذروا، لحتى يصمدوا، لحتى ما تصير بلادهم محتلة من قبل الأمريكي بأشكال وأنواع مختلفة. يقول الرئيس أوباما: نحتاج فقط، شوفوا فقط، يعني ما عاد في حاجة للحروب العسكرية وإرسال الجيوش. هاي الاستراتيجية تبدلت. جربوها بأفغانستان، جربوها بالعراق، جربوها بالمنطقة، جربوها بالصومال. إرسال الجيش الأمريكي مكلف جدا ماليا وبشريا وما عطى النتائج المتوقعة وشاهدوا واجهوا هزائم كبيرة. إذن استراتيجية تغيرت. شو مطلوب؟ فقط تحتاج فقط إلى إفساد الرأي العام، بس الرأي العام اللبناني، الرأي العام الفلسطيني، الرأي العام السوري، الرأي العام الإيراني، الرأي العام العراقي وهكذا. تحتاج فقط إلى إفساد الرأي العام لبلد ما بالوسائل العشوائية، اتهامات شمال ويمين، هذا شمال ويمين، يعني بالوسائل العشوائية. في مترجم تاني بيقول بالبريد العشوائي، وطرح أسئلة كافية وزرع ونشر ما يكفي من الشائعات وزرع نظريات مؤامرة كافية، مؤامرة إيرانية، مؤامرة مجوسية، مؤامرة فارسية، مؤامرة ما بعرف شو، لإرباك مواطني هذا البلد بما يجب تصديقه. يعني بيعملوا جو شائعات واتهامات ومقالات وشبكات تواصل اجتماعي وفضائيات وكذب على مدار الساعة وأفلام وثائقية لا تستند إلى أي دليل لأجل أن يفقدوا الثقة في قادتهم. في هذا الامتحان أيها الإخوة والأخوات سقطت الإدارة الأمريكية مجددا، كشفت مجددا والمتوحشة، وكذلك من هم مثلها في هذا العالم. 9 أيام صبرت الحكومة الأمريكية لتقول بعدها 8 أيام أو 9 أيام أنه تقديم المساعدات لسوريا لا يتنافى مع قانون قيصر. بعضهم قال هيك وبعضهم قالوا سمحنا، عملنا استثناء لمدة مثلا 3 أشهر. طيب خلال 9 أيام مين بيبقى طيب بعض الأنقاض إلا ما هو بمثابة المعجزة؟ هم تركوا العالم تموت 8 أيام 9 أيام بعدين، ويمكن نتيجة التنديد والصراخ اللي صار بالعالم شعروا شوي بالحرج وأقدموا على هذه الخطوة المؤقتة. أنا أريد بهاليومين أنه الإسرائيلي بلش يصدر نفط من كاريش، من غاز من كاريش. ليش؟ إذا حدا مفكر أنه إذا بيصير تسويف بموضوع استخراج النفط والغاز من المياه اللبنانية وعن جد بنكتشف نحن أنه في تسويف وفي لعب على اللبنانيين وفي ضحك على اللحى، حنسمح يضلوا يستخرجوا نفط وغاز من كاريش؟ أنا بقول لكم أبداً. هذا معنى، هلا في ناس أخذوها أنه حكي انفعال، لا أنا كنت مفكر منيح بالكلمة. هذا معنى إذا بدك تجوعني بقتلك، هذا معنى إذا بدك تجوعنا بنقتلك.
Okay, and some viewer comments. This is on Vladimir Putin's speech to Russia. Let's see what we have here. Oh, thank you for posting this with the subtitles. It's much appreciated. Thank you. Nice to hear a true leader. Only 2 comments for that one. And let's see. This is on Stoltenberg. Putin's start move makes world more dangerous. See what we get from that. Just a moment. Yeah, this one says, remember that Putin and Zelensky were going to have peace talks last March, but Biden said the IMP could win it on the battlefield. That's MR Derb 1292. Randy Thomas 3478 says, NATO and U.S. should have answered Putin's request for dialogue instead of ignoring him before he felt he had no choice but to enter Ukraine. NATO pushed itself right onto Russia's back porch. What did you expect Putin to do? Samsak 5869 says, didn't NATO agree not to move eastward? Kia says he is doing Allah's work. Pep Beans 1 says, imagine if the dislikes were still enabled. And Breaking the Waves 1026 says, let's face the facts. NATO nuclear weapons are about to expire and need replacement. This is why not Russia, but instead NATO's tearing down unilaterally this agreement in order to start nuclear weapon production. Interesting. And Jaizong 1480 says, don't call on Russia to do anything good. Putin would watch the world burn before he gives up his ambitions. Seymour Fact 433 says, USA, UK, EU, that's making world more dangerous. Dead by Jean 4866 says, will no one acknowledge Ukraine killing its own Russian-speaking citizens in the East before Putin's special mission even started? Charlie 1761 says, everyone misses President Trump and his America First policies. Let's see what some replies are to that. Oh, you mean his Russia First policies. And then George Lux says, nobody intelligent misses Trump. Charlie says, you poor thing. And then Yo Mama 9021 says, yeah, no, we don't. Y Freeman 3188 says, it's not a pointless war. Ukraine is the food basket of the world and literally the last country available in Europe that can supply enough oil to our allies to stifle Russia. Beyond that, Russia chose the war. We should have stopped them at Crimea, but now this is our last shot. Additionally, supporting Ukraine is vastly cheaper than any of the alternatives, and the knowledge gained will help us in future conflicts such as with Taiwan. Wow, we have a warmonger. And not only that, this person doesn't even acknowledge that 2014, was probably more of a catalyst in 2019 than 2022, right? With, we say there's been a lot of rhetoric that February 24th was the beginning of the conflict, but in reality 2014 was the beginning of the conflict when the United States overturned a democratically elected government in Ukraine. I would say that would probably be more of a start than 2022 of last year. All right, let's see what else we have here. Under Wang Yi's meets Russian security chief Nikolai Patrushev in Moscow. Some comments are, greetings from Russia. Russia and China are friendship for centuries. Moreover, in the future, I hope we'll live under one red flag. Mr. 300ZX90 says, good for Russia and China. Mr. Steve PGA1 says, yes, it's time to stand up together to tackle the internationally gangster or bully on pretext to provide security while they're all real threats. Monlo4610 has 3 thumbs up here. Elfenfang 5305 says, it's consoling to see China and Russia cooperating to promote world peace and maintain a balance of power for a multipolar world. Let's see. Ninja Ribanban 3335 says, goodness, what a change from the Western leaders flapping about in hysterics about balloons. Let's see. Penin Hulk GI 491 says, China will always wholeheartedly support for ultra super prosperous and ultra super strong Russia. Mega Film Lover says, I still hope China would do more to try to stop the horrible Russian invasion and war in Ukraine, because even among allies or friends, it's a good idea to speak up when someone's making terrible mistakes or wrong things. Construction GABAY 4609 says, Hashinwai is the name formerly of Vladivostok before it was land grab, just in case you forget. Interesting. China should offer to send peacekeepers to the occupied regions of Ukraine. It's clear Russia and the West can't solve it alone. That's Colonial 1770. He sounds like a colonialist. Kitty Cat Centeno 7160 says, everyone must stay neutral, stay safe, away from the Ukrainian blackmail. And China must now allow Russia to lose the war, because if Russia loses, China will be next, and it might be difficult to stop the U.S. It's where the fight must be won, it's said. And then, let's see, the baddest 7841 says, the Russian bear and the mighty dragon. There's a characterization or two. And let's see, shouldn't be too many comments under this one. Let's see, no comments for that. Comments turned off. Oh, under Bernie Sanders, let's see what the people say. Oh, 3,186 comments here. I'm so happy when Bernie said he's proud of his campaign because it changed the perspective of young voters. Karen Wilson 4902 says, Bernie's always so gracious, especially given how passive-aggressive and outright aggressive the media is to him. Be nice if the media went after corporate Democrats and Republicans half as aggressively as they do Bernie. He just keeps staying on point no matter how they go after him. The man's the most consistent and focused politician I have ever seen. This man has never changed his talking points for 40 years. He believes what he says, and I believe he cares about the state of the country. If we all aren't doing better financially, physically, and mentally, I think he's great. I think that's about enough for Bernie. I mean, we've done that for a few, for a few, cycles, 4-year cycles. Follow Bernie. We know his agenda. Hopefully, he'll get some leeway in the future. And make some leeway in the future. Right, so there we have it. Let me check our, retrieve some data to make sure there's nothing else we need to cover. And remember to watch this space, because your engagement through a like, share, subscribe will accelerate us at warp speed towards the continuation of our mission to truthfully go where no news will have been going before. I'm going to open a channel. And let's try one more time for that warp speed.